I'm Libby Doggett, as Nancy said. I'm at the U.S. Department of Education. I'm the program person on the panel. But I came because I think what you do is so very, very important. In fact, you can help us so much improve education, and I'll talk a little bit more about that. I'm an early childhood person. I've been doing this all of my life, and I have to say there's no more exciting time to be in early childhood than right now. I hope you know, as you've looked at the research and heard about the research, that early childhood, and I'm talking about the first 5 years of life, really do form a critical foundation for everything that happens later. And that if children don't get off to a good start, yes, we can catch them up, but we have to spend a lot of time, a lot of effort, and a lot of money doing that. So I'm out here to ask for your help because I think we have an incredible opportunity right now to change all that. First of all, it happened about a year ago at the State of the Union, as Eric mentioned. This was a year ago at the State of the Union, when President Obama announced a huge new initiative in early childhood. It started with home visiting. It had a robust piece to improve child care for infants and toddlers, and had a major new piece to improve the expanse and the quality of pre-K for children at 200% of poverty or less in this country. That dream is now starting to be a reality. We put $1 billion out in Race to the Top Early Learning Challenge Fund money to 20 states. So how many of y'all are in a state and know about that funding? It's Race to the Top Early Learning Challenge Fund. Great. So some of that money I hope you are using to improve the data systems, because that was a major part, or was a piece of a big systems building in early childhood. Those of you who've studied the field know what a mess we have in early childhood. We have child care that was originally to take care of kids. It's very poorly funded. It's not much of a system, and the requirements, the standards are really sub-minimal in many states. Then we have Head Start, which is a federal to local funding source, and some of the programs are fantastic. Some of them need major improvement. And then we have PreK, which has primarily been state-driven. States have done a terrific job. We've had 30 governors over the last year put more money into into pre-K, and that is on both sides of the aisle, so it's very much at the state level a bipartisan issue. So we have Race to the Top, which is requiring more collection of data and offering some funding to help with that. A part of a Race to the Top is also kindergarten entry assessments. That, I think, will help us get better data about how children are doing when they enter kindergarten. So that's one thing. Then we have the budget that just recently passed, which restored major cuts that had been made due to sequestration in Head Start and child care into our Part C program for children with disabilities. So we've gotten some of the funding restored to those foundational early childhood programs. Then we have new early Head Start child care partnership funding over at HHS. I'm sorry a partner from HHS can't be here, but we're working very closely with HHS on the early childhood agenda. And the new partnerships will be an opportunity for states to improve their child care for infants and toddlers by having a number of new centers adhere to the early Head Start standards, which are much, much higher, and provide funding that will enable programs to participate in data, and I'll talk about that in a minute. And then finally, at the Department of Education, we have new $250 million grants that will go out sometime in the fall. We're currently collecting information from people. I'd love to hear from you on what the data requirements, what kinds of things we should be putting in that competition around data. That money will go out to two types of states. States that haven't done a lot around pre-K, so they can actually build this system. Of course, part of that system is how's this data system going to be set up, and how's it going to talk to the other systems? And then the other part of the funding will go to states that have done a terrific job, some of those 30 states I was talking about, to help them bring to fruition or to scale pre-K in a couple of localities in their state. So that's we're spending a lot of time on that. I think one of the problems in early childhood, if you find reluctance on the part of early childhood community, it's because we've been very fearful of having kids tested. And so I think people in early childhood have stayed away from data collection and have some fear around it because it's really hard to test a 3 or 4-year-old. You ask a 3-year-old, a question, if they want to answer it, they will, but if they don't want to answer it, they won't. And you can't really tell what kids can do. You have to really watch and you have to have a good eye. The other thing is the system has been so poorly funded. When you have somebody who's just graduated from high school or maybe just has a GED taking care of 20 children, that person's not going to have the skills or the program is not going to have the funding to collect data. So we've got to change that, and that's one of the things the president wants to do. And then the teachers haven't been trained. I think there's been a lack of training at the community college and the college level to really teach teachers how to collect data, what to do with it when they get it. When you all are designing these wonderful systems, it won't be any good if we really can't use them. I was delighted to be a part of establishing the Early Childhood Data Collaborative because I do feel like for early childhood, you are our answer. When we can show the field what children who get a good start in life can do and how much it improves their skills and abilities later on, I think we will be able to change the funding, which has been so skewed toward the upper end and really meant really poor funding at the lower end in those early years. So just think about what a difference data can do in a classroom. There's not a school turnaround project that I read about where data hasn't been the driver. It's been because those schools have used the data, have taught the teachers how to use the data, the principals how to use the data, and they have made the turnaround based on your good work. It helps teachers individualize instruction. They know where kids are when they come in. They can use technology so much more successfully because they know what kinds of programs to match with the children. They can improve their own instruction through data. And most of all, they can help parents really have a view of what they could do better with their children. There's some hopeful trends. I think our field is changing. I think I hear a lot of early childhood people talking about data, talking about assessment much more openly, and really realize, as I have, that this is the answer and not running away from it. I think what you're doing in the States is leading the way. You've heard, I hope, Secretary Duncan say, the best ideas come from local schools and the states, and we really believe that, and I think that's certainly true around data collection. I'm excited that in Rhode Island, who's here from Rhode Island? I've heard that you all have have either combined or about to combine your education and health data, so we really will be able, those systems will be able to talk to each other. We're quite excited about what you're doing, so thank you for that. And then who's here from Delaware? I'm quite excited that Dell, and I'm a Texas girl, the Dell Foundation has given your state over, I think, $1.5 million to establish new dashboards in early childhood, through some of in working with the Race to the Top Early Learning Challenge Fund. I think that's going to be really exciting to watch what happens there, because that's the kind of thing we need. We need dashboards. We need data that teachers and parents can understand. So I want to end with 3 requests. One is, help us get more money in early childhood. I know you're not a program person, but it's people like you and not people that are advocates like me that have really made the difference. The business community has gotten it, and they have stepped up to the plate. They said the only way we're going to have the trained workforce is because we really want to start early. So I need you all as data people to help legislators and policymakers all over the country really realize how important these early years are. Then help us get systems that really work, that work for teachers and work for parents, so that we can really make that difference. Because if we have so much data that we're all overwhelmed, you can imagine what teachers and parents feel. So we got to make it easy for them to understand. And then finally, send me any best practices or any ideas you have. I have a term limit, just like the president does, so I have 3 years, but we're intent at the Department of Education to move the early childhood agenda forward, and we will move that forward in conjunction with you and really good data, so thank you.